What a wonderful introduction that is. Thank you so much. Okay, so by the way, Marianne and I were in class together. So when you say I graduated, she graduated 84 too. Anyway, we both did. We had a class of 17 and one of our classmates passed away last year. And so I think the two of us are probably the only junior Butler. I think, yeah. I think the two of us are probably the only two left of that class. So we're the ones with the longevity. So yay us, and we're going to keep on going, you guys, because we have you supporting us. So thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. I'm so happy to be here. And let's see, I think you said Sandy said in the 30s, today we are actually going to break 40. Woo! So that's great. All right. And we have friends from California. That's they may join us a little later because we start our service at 11. And so Sylvia is here. Ajika lives in North Carolina, so South Carolina. Sorry, I always get the Carolinas mixed up, but they're both Carolinas to me. So anyway, she's on the East Coast, but Sylvia, thank you so much for getting up early, and Barb's in Colorado, so thank you. They're joining a little bit early, so somebody else might join us later as we get closer to the 11 o'clock hour or shortly after. So yes, we've been talking about possibilities all month long. I don't know if you guys have, but we have. So what I want to do is because what we've been also doing is going through the first four sections of the Science of Mind textbook. Okay, so I want to just kind of review them for you. All right, so that when you get to the last one, they all kind of hang together. Okay, if you don't do anything else, during the year, or if you want to ever review, go to those first four sections of the textbook, and you could read them every month. And, it helps to sink in, because every time you read them, something else new comes up. Okay, so the first section is the thing itself. And in it, Ernest Holmes says, we see the abundance in the universe. So why is man weak, poor, and afraid? Yes, that question. I mean, it's right there. And then he goes on to say, the science of mind deals with these questions because, I add the because, the divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of every living soul. Every living soul freedom is their birthright. It doesn't come from the government. It doesn't come from your vets serving. That's wonderful that they do, but they are not giving us any freedom. We have freedom the moment we are born because it is our birthright. It comes to us with our life. Every breath you take is a breath that gives you, that continues to express that freedom. So why is weakness and poverty? Why do we have weakness, poverty, and fear? They're not God ordained, but they keep us in bondage. They keep us in bondage through the limitations that we place on ourselves. So then he also says in that same section, within each of us, there is that which partakes of the nature of the divine. If that is so, since it partakes of the nature of the divine being, we are divine. It reacts to us according to our belief in it. It is an immutable law, and it is no respecter of persons. That, I think, is critical for us to understand. It really, really is. We are divine, and yet, at the same time, we have to recognize that divinity, okay? We have to, we partake of the divine nature, but if we go around going like, I am just a worm in the dust, it's like, I'm just a human being and that's all there is to it. And I'm dealing with, then we're living with fear and poverty and weakness. Okay, we don't get that we can have a life that is glorious and abundance in the harmony, because I don't know anybody, maybe you do, but I don't know anybody who looks for to be in poverty. Okay, I mean, they just don't. I mean, they don't. Who walks around going like, "Oh God, I wish I was afraid of this. I wish I was afraid of that." Okay, they say, "I'm afraid of snakes. I wish I wasn't afraid of snakes." Right? Okay, so the thing is that we want these things, but we don't recognize who we are, and that's a necessity. And so, in other words, the divine responds to us. Okay, it responds to us. Okay, response means it comes back to us. Okay, it responds to us in accordance with our belief in it. And this is why people who believe in Jesus and believe so strongly that God's outside, that's why they get results. Oral Roberts, used to do all kinds of healing things, right? Remember back in the day, Mary Ann's going, yeah, because we used to study him when we were in class. It's like, how come he can get all those treatments? We do spiritual mind treatment. How come he gets better? Because he had a deeper belief. His belief was unwavering that he could heal, and he did. And we too. Ernest Holmes did healings all the time. We have practitioners that have done healings. Marianne and I have done healings. Okay, so it's not, Jesus isn't the only one who can do healings. Okay, and many people have done healings, but it hangs on our belief. And that's what's so wonderful about that song this morning. Even the popular culture recognizes that belief is necessary for how we live our lives. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one is the way it works. So the thing itself, of course, is God. The way it works, because by the way, a little side thing here. If you don't like the word God, Emma Curtis Hopkins says good. Just substitute good for God, okay? And you know why she did that? Because in her day, what was happening is God was was to be feared. God was got in your way and did cause problems in your life and that kind of stuff. Okay, so God got blamed for a lot of stuff, and she goes like, "That's not what God is. God is good." So she just says good instead of God. So feel free to do that. Okay, adopt her stuff. All right. So the way it works is the thing works for us, okay, by working through us always. Those are his words, not mine. The thing then works for us by working through us always, okay? But it can become power to us only when we what? Recognize it as power. So we have to recognize that our power comes from God. It does not come from living the life that we live. It doesn't come from our parents. It doesn't come from our jobs. It doesn't come from, anything. It comes from the Spirit itself. Okay. Then he goes on to say, our belief sets the limit to our demonstration of a principle which of itself is without limit. It is ready to fill everything because it is infinite. So it is not a question of its willingness nor its ability. It is entirely a question of our own receptivity. Oh my God. So if you want to look that up, page 37. Okay. All right. It's like God's not holding anything from us. We are not, nothing is being withheld. Okay, there's no, okay, you can only have this much. You can only be this much. There's no limits. It is limitless, and yet we go like, oh, well, I don't think I could do that. My family, they would really frown on me if I did these kinds of things. Okay, so I watch a lot of Korean movies. We had an issue with our house last year, and ran into some problems, and we had to be out of the kitchen for, I mean, out of the house for several months, right? So while we was there, we were in all these hotels. And what you watch at the hotels? Netflix. So on Netflix, they had this show, and I started watching Korean movies. And usually when I'm home, I don't watch this. I don't watch anything that I can't walk around because I don't sit and watch movies or TV or whatever. I'm always doing something, while I'm doing that. I don't. It could be something I'm doing with my hands or cooking or whatever. But I'm never just sitting in front of the TV. Well, in a hotel room, guess what you do? You just sit there and watch TV, okay? And so I'm sitting there watching TV, and now you can read, right? Because now you can read the because it's all in Korean. So I don't understand Korean. So I'm listening, I'm reading. So anyway, the thing is that they have a culture. At least that's what's portrayed in the movies that they have, and they think since everybody in the world thinks we live the movies that get sent out, I'm gonna assume that they live the Korean movies, okay? Well, so in the Korean movies, they have this hierarchy. And if you are rich, you don't associate with people who are poor. And so sometimes kids get scholarships to go to school with a bunch of rich kids, right? The rich kids bully them. They bully them. I mean, and I am really surprised because those people, they hit each other a lot. Okay. And it's just like, bam, just, it's like, I'm mad at you. So but the parents are very, very clear about you have to get married and you have to marry a certain, group of people. The parents will select the person. And of course, in the movies, they're always about, no, I'm not going to marry the person you want me to marry. This is the person I love. All right. But here's the thing. It's a good example of limitations being placed on people, the young people, and they're saying, "No, I'm not gonna go with those limitations you place on me. I found somebody that I want to live my life with, and I'm gonna live my life with them." That happens in real life. That happens all the time in real life. Parents, they get disappointed because, I put you through college, because I want you to be a lawyer like me, or we've got this whole family of military people, or we have this whole family of doctors, and you have to be that. What if you don't want to do that? What if that's not your aptitude? What if there's something more you want? Well, what the science of mind is teaching is go do what you want to do. There's no limits on who you are, what you are. And you know what? I- I'm looking at this statement. It doesn't say, hmm, if you are 20 years old, you can do whatever you want to do. Or if you're 50, oh, you have to wait till you're 80 and then you can do what you want to do. Okay? All right? I mean, it's like there's no age limits here. So you can start today. I don't care what the limitations you have put on yourself. You can start today to remove those limitations and create the life that you desire to have. Okay? So just look around and say, I don't like this and get rid of it. Okay? So uh it is entirely a question of our own receptivity. Just start being receptive. Just go like, okay, God, I'm ready. Okay? But here's the thing, you have to know what it is you want because God has unlimited possibilities. You may get something that you go like, "What happened? How did I get that?" Okay? Because God's sense of greatness is, I promise you, is greater than yours. I promise you it is. Okay? All right, so then the next one is what it does. And he says, a unity, listen to this, a unity, what unity means, right? Union. A unity must be established, a conscious connection. Conscious means you have to think about this. You have to be aware. It means when you're awake, okay? A unity must be established, a conscious connection must be made. Must means there's no exceptions, okay? Must be made before we can derive the benefits which the greater mind is willing to reveal or impart to us. we have to be receptive in a conscious way. We have to be awake. We can't go to sleep and, they have on YouTube all these things, like play this while you're sleeping because your subconscious, is getting, I mean, to some extent, I imagine it does work. Okay. Because the thing is that we have so much subconscious stuff that we don't even realize that we have, that we've taken in, you may, you're just driving down the street and you see something and you make a comment in your own mind. You don't speak it out loud. You just make a comment. You go, "Good Lord, why are they doing something like that?" Or you just cut me off and I'm really pissed off about that. That's all going part of your subconscious. You go down the road and you've forgotten all about it. But those comments are back stuck in your subconscious. And so when you're sleeping, your conscious mind is out to lunch somewhere, and your subconscious mind is going like, "Ooh, I can take this in." But you have to be conscious, okay? A unity must be established in a conscious connection. So your subconscious cannot do it all. Okay, you can maybe, it's sort of like you can plant some seeds in the soil. Okay, I got seeds in my backyard here. I started a garden last year. They didn't all come up, but anyway, I had planted seeds in the soil. Guess what? I have to consciously continue to make sure they what? Get water, because this is in Georgia, we don't necessarily get water all the time. So I have to make sure they're watered. The seeds, some seeds need a lot of sun. So I have to plant them in a place where it is sunny. Do you see? So that is my conscious participation in planting the garden. You have to do the same thing with your life. You can't just go like, I want to be a millionaire, and then put those little things on a subconscious night every night, going like, you're a millionaire, you are becoming a millionaire, you're a millionaire, and see those affirmations all night long, and then do nothing in the daytime. Okay, you have to be working towards this thing in a conscious way. So the next and the last one is for this week. Okay, it's how to use the science of mind. And he says, oh, by the way, before I finish, there was one more quote from that, what it does. The universe is impersonal. It gives to all alike. It is no respecter of persons. It values each alike. That is extremely important, because we look at people and we say, how come you have that and I don't? That's the reason why. Because the universe is impersonal. If that person is making a conscious connection, even if it's something negative, like stealing something from someplace, okay, it's still making that conscious connection. All right, they may get caught because we have laws and all kinds of stuff, but a lot of people don't get caught. They do a lot of stuff and don't get caught. We've done stuff that we haven't gotten caught on. Okay, so the universe is impersonal. It gives to all alike. It does not respect anybody. It doesn't say, well, I like this person and I don't like that person. We may not like those persons, or we may think that, but the spirit does not. Okay, the law is impersonal. Okay, so the last one is how to use it. Infinite, he says, infinite and immutable as the law is, ever present and available as it must be, the potential possibility of all human probability. It must, no exceptions, it must flow through us in order to manifest for us. It must flow through us in order to manifest for us. One of the great difficulties, he says, in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. So, I want to say something that might be kind of controversial. It's not in my community, but it might be in yours. Okay, so just talk to Marianne about this afterwards. Okay, so I have this belief that we are uh, a collective, that we are all one in together, that we're all here together. There's a oneness. Okay, we haven't talked about that. It's not in those sections, but there's a oneness, and we all are in this. It's sort of like we're all in this big pot together. Okay, so just think about that. Every one of us is like in this great big huge pot, and each one of us is like a little drop in that, a little molecule in there. Okay. Well, when, if you have a pot of water, you put a drop in there, right? Or you put a spoon or whatever. What happens? Everything gets touched. Every single molecule. I used to use when I was living in California, I used to use Lake Tahoe as the example. Say, you got this huge lake, okay? And yet at the same time, people go and put, they skip rocks in there, right? And what happens when you skip the rock? The rock slides along, and every single molecule in that huge lake, sooner or later, is going to get moved. Then we have quantum physics, because Ernest Holmes is, in the beginning, he talks about the marriage of science and religion. It has happened, okay? And so now, when quantum physics, we know that truly there is that butterfly effect. We're all affected, okay? And so if that is so, then what you think, the life you live, is having an effect on all of us around you. You're not doing this in a vacuum. You're not living your life in a vacuum. The thoughts you think, the behaviors you participate in, the beliefs you have are all part of the collective subconscious that we all participating in. Okay? So, possibilities. Let's go back to possibilities. Last year, we had seemingly two possibilities for president, right? We had we had Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Everybody looked and said, that's two possibilities. But you know what? There wasn't two possibilities, because those two people represented an unlimited number of possibilities, because each one of them would have selected people to participate in their government, and each one of those brought another unlimited level of possibilities, right? Because whoever they are, let's say person X is going to appoint and have these kinds of thoughts and ideas about how to run the government. Person Y is going to have these kinds of thoughts and ideas about how to run the government. And the thing is that what happens is that there were unlimited possibilities that would show up as a result of which candidate you chose. Okay? Some people, the possibilities were too great, so they just went like, boop, I'm not even going to participate. But see, the thing is that we're in a collective, aren't we? We're all in that pot together. There's no such thing as not participating. You just can't not do it, okay? Because we're all in this together. So what we do is we abdicate our experience of of creating possibilities in our life. We just sit back and we go like, I'm not going to choose. And not choosing is a choice. Think about that. Not choosing is a choice. And so what we have is the minority ruling the majority right now. Why do I say that? Because the president got less votes this time than he got last time, and he got less than 50% of the vote. So the minority is ruling the majority. Okay, so what does that mean for us? It means that we have new choices to make, because we now have new possibilities that have shown up. Okay? And because we have new possibilities, and see, I'm talking about this on the presidential level for one reason, because it's something we all know about and we all participate in. Okay? We all know this, right? Anybody not know what I'm talking about? All right. We could do this for your own life too. Because if you are on Social Security, or if you are retired, or if you are still working, it doesn't matter. You're still confronted every day with choices in terms of how you're going to look at the circumstances that you're in and what you're going to do about them. Whether you're going to let the minority fear thoughts, weak thoughts, poverty thoughts run your life, or if you're going to align yourself consciously with the spirit that has unlimited possibilities and start looking and saying, you know, I have multiple choices here. I don't care if it has to do with health, if it has to do with your finances, if your housing situation, your relationships, it doesn't matter. All of those, you have choices. And what happens is we start to limit ourselves from the possibilities because we go, oh, well, I have to do this or that. That's living in the world of duality, which science has told us there is no such thing as duality, ultimately. Okay? So, so let us stop being afraid. Because if we are afraid to fully and completely live our lives, then guess what happens? We have lives that are suppressed as opposed to open at the top for joy and love and peace and harmony and all that stuff. Okay, so the people in my community have been and people that I run into, not just people in my spiritual community, but people that are afraid. You know, they're afraid of their Social Security going away, or they're afraid of something else. These gentlemen that were just, I'm being nice, were let out of jail, are militia people, and they believe that they can overthrow the government and that it's in the Constitution that they have the right to do that. So what is that belief? Do we have to accept that their belief is the one that runs the country? No, we don't. And so what I did to help the people in my community, and I'll be willing to share it with Marianne, is I found out there are a lot of people who were saying, you know what, no more. I'm willing, I did not vote, or I did not choose to vote, or I have not been involved. And so, but there are a lot of organizations that are doing things that are wonderful that you can participate in. Now, if you know, and here's the thing, we in science of mind, and this has been going on for years, because when we were in ministerial school, we were told don't talk politics. Remember that, Marianne? Do not talk politics. But see, the thing is that politics is not just about choosing a candidate. Politics is how we make choices and possibilities, and express our desires for the possibilities that we want to have in our world and in our country and in internationally. Okay, so we get to open up new possibilities for the kind of country we want to live in. Remember, we're all in this pot together. We're all in this pot in a conscious way. And so therefore, if we sit back and we go like, you know, I don't want to participate, or we say, you know, I am so scared. I don't know I am just so afraid. What are we doing? We're pulling back, and we're creating the energy that pushes down and allows somebody else to go, say, I can do this, I can do that, I can run the country, I can, you know, we allowing them, therefore, their energy to take over. Do you shake your head if I'm, you know, am I getting across? Do you understanding what I'm saying? Okay. That's the problem with being on like everybody's so intense, so that you know you don't, and they're not, you don't necessarily get the feedback. So give me some feedback. All right. So you know the thing is that I know a lot of us in science minds, it's been going back years and years and years. People will say to me, without all the controversy that we're having today, I just can't listen to the news. I can't listen to the news. It's all negative. No, it's not all negative, and we're choosing not to listen to the news because we are afraid of what we're going to hear, and we do not have the belief that there is a good that is always there and available. We always have the choice of goodness. Why? Because what we've been just talking about, the unlimited possibilities of goodness are always there because God, what did Emma Curtis Hopkins say? God is good. God is love. God is wisdom. God is truth. God is positivity beyond our imaginations. And yet, at the same time, we limit ourselves to what we see in the world, which is the world of duality. Okay, the duality comes in the creation when we come into form. Doesn't mean that we have to get stuck there and say we only have this and this. Okay, if we are going in the science of mind, we have this say like, well, I don't want to do anything negative. Well, that pulls our energy out of whatever goodness could be happening. There are, the thing is part of the problem that we have had is that we have allowed. I'll give you an example. Okay, so social media. Chomsky, I guess his name is. He said social media has put us into little groups. Okay, I'm using my words, but we've put us into groups, and so it's sort of like you get in this group, and then all the messages you get are just from that group. Okay, so I had someone tell me last week that she's been writing this positive stuff on Facebook page, and she said, "You know what? I don't get any feedback back." And so I've been you go on watch YouTube on the shorts. I like to watch the shorts. They're funny, okay, and they're short, okay, and so look, I just started looking. I didn't used to, but I just started noticing how many likes little cute little stories and little funny things they get less likes than the ones that have to do with politics or something negative. I don't get that many negatives because I don't I don't put in the I don't I'm not down that rabbit hole. Let me put it that way. But I haven't also put likes. And so the thing is that if we see something on social media and we like it and it's good, then say like it. If you see something and you don't like it, then hit dislike. Because the thing is that you will get more, you will get stuff that is in harmony with your perspective. Let me say it that way. Okay. The other thing is that if you put dislike, you're also adding to the people who are saying, you know what, this is not working for me. And all too often, we in Science of Mind go like, this is not working for me, but we don't let anybody know. We don't know. No, I'm not telling anybody that this is not working for me. We walk away from our churches. I've seen people walk away from church because they didn't like the minister or they didn't like this or that and the other thing. Do you think they stopped and said, I don't like this and that's why I'm leaving? No, they just let disappear. We've all had that experience of people just disappearing from our organizations, right? They just disappear from our organizations without saying a word. And the thing is with social media, they're doing the same thing, except that they're going like for the negative. Okay. And so we can participate quietly by disliking the negative and liking the positive. So we can have an effect too. It may be minor. It might be, just, well, how many is there 30 of us here or something? But the thing is that whatever. It will make a difference. Why? Because we are in this big lake, okay? And our consciousness is making an effect. It may not look like it is making an effect right away, but it is. We're all participating in this. So there's a variety of organizations that are legal entities, nonprofits, political action groups that are, available that you can participate in, that you can write letters, you can do things. You don't have to feel powerless. And so choose one thing perhaps that says, you know what, I am not powerless in this country. and I am going to do something that that feels comfortable to me. Okay. And it's just a little drop, okay, of positivity. Okay. And they don't have to be political organizations. Okay. They can be, like, let me see, there's the League of Women Voters. It's about grassroots teaching people, encouraging people to vote. Okay. And the ACLU is about civil liberties. Okay. There's Human Watch. There's the NAACP. There's American Civil Liberties. You know, there's lots and lots of different organizations that you can participate in. Okay. Along with, if I don't know about you, because we have an organization called the Hands Across Atlanta, or something like that. And they're volunteer organizations. You can volunteer for to provide food to people. You know, just do something. Stop abdicating our power to those who have money and who think they want to and can run the world. Our power is, we in this room, just on this call, have more power than any one of the presidents that we have ever had, but we don't use it in a way that supports us individually and as a country. And why do I say that? Because Ernest Holmes has already told us our power is unlimited. Our possibilities are unlimited. Do you see? And when you know that you have no limits, when you know that your possibilities are unlimited, then you know that you are at choice and that you have to be conscious. Then you have power way beyond those people who run around going like, I'm the power. That is false power, because when you truly have power, you don't have to shout it. We have seen people very quietly, and a lot of them have been in the background doing this conservative stuff for years and years and years, very quietly, doing what they need to do, very quietly, utilizing their power, while the rest of us were walking around going like, I can't do this, I can't do that. I don't want to watch the news. It's too negative. I don't want to be on social media because, all I see is negative stuff. We're doing all that. And what are we doing? We're withdrawing. But somebody underneath the surface is going like, I can do this. I can have this. Okay? Choose to do something that is in harmony with who you are and what's important to you. And I don't care what it is, but I don't care how old you are. You have the power to do it if you have it in your mind to do it. And you have all the power of the universe in support of your decision. Thank you. So am I supposed to do a closing prayer? Okay. I forgot. All right. Thank you, everybody. Be good. Be empowered.